Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's NewsStand, and I have a very small update when it comes to the UK trial with Johnny Depp. Now, this is starting on Tuesday, so this will, encompass a lot, and I definitely plan on covering it step by step. Plan on looking at all of the court documents that come out and really going through this with a fine-tooth comb, but it looks like we are going to get a face-off. And what I mean by that is, in this court case, there will be both parties, Johnny and Amber, in submitting evidence and on trial at the same time. There are a lot of times when it comes to abuse cases. Now, these are usually criminal. What we're looking at is a civil trial, since Johnny is technically suing the son, and, Amber is doing her best to work with the son. And because this is civil and it's over defamation, the court has allowed her, and we will take a look at an article from The Guardian, but the court has allowed her to be in the courtroom when Johnny Depp gives his testimony. But, I actually kind of disagree with this. When there is a victim of a criminal case, right? The victim doesn't have to face. They can. But they can give evidence without having to face that person, because it's a way to really intimidate somebody, right? You're in the courtroom with them. You're looking them in the eyes as you tell your story, and it can be very, very intimidating. So, unfortunately, that is what Johnny is going to have to go through. He is going to have to face his, in this instance, his abuser. And then again, Amber Heard, in the same right, has the right in this case to face her accuser. So, let's take a look at what The Guardian says as far as the court case going on Tuesday. But tomorrow I should have some normal stuff up. I want to do some retro reviews and a couple other things before this court case really gets started. So it says, Amber Heard can be in court for Johnny Depp's evidence, the High Court rules. Judge says it would be unfair to stop Heard watching Depp give evidence in the libel case over domestic abuse claims. Now, like I said, I disagree with that, but when it comes to civil, I understand why, because, in this instance, now I'm curious to see how they will do it when it comes to Virginia, but he's not suing Amber in this instance. He is suing news groups. So Johnny Depp has failed to stop his ex-wife Amber Heard from watching him give evidence in the libel case over allegations of domestic abuse. The actor is suing the publishers of the Sun News Group newspapers and its executive editor Dan Wootton over a 2018 article which described Depp as a wife beater. Again, that word, I feel like we've gone over that word so many times. That is exactly why we are here, though, because of the instance of them calling him that. So they have to prove, News Group, Sun, Dan Wootton, you have to prove that he was a wife beater or you've lost. You've already lost. So, yeah. The article was referencing claims made by Heard, who is not 37, I believe she's 34, that Depp was physically abusive to her during the marriage. He denies these allegations. The case is due to be heard in court on Tuesday after a last-ditch attempt. Right, we went over this. NGN, the Sun, tried to get it thrown out, basically, because Johnny Depp's lawyers failed to give some text messages between him and his assistant from March and February of 2015, and they were completely, shut down. It didn't negate that kind of a thing. It didn't negate a fair trial. So they were like, no, we are going forward. This was supposed to happen in March. Let's get this over with. Depp, 57, has sought to break with precedent for civil cases and ban his former partner, arguing that her evidence would be more reliable if she was not present in court when Depp was cross-examined. I do understand where Depp's coming from. You really don't, in that kind of a relationship, that volatile of a relationship, you don't want to face that person again, and I get it. But it's been, it's not happening. In criminal cases, witnesses cannot be present in court while others are giving evidence. But in civil cases, this is possible. In a court order published on Saturday, however, Justice Nicole rejecting the attempt, ruling it would be unfair and inhibit the conduct of their defense. While the party acknowledged that Heard was not a party, and that's really what this comes down to. He said defendants NGN and Wooten rely heavily on the information which Ms. Heard can provide. They rely beyond heavily on it. If Amber falls through in this one, they are going to lose. The only thing they have to prove is he's a wife beater. And, I don't know how they're going to prove it at this point. Amber will not be in a position to give instructions to the lawyers, but she can provide information on which the defendants may choose to act. So when Johnny's, being cross-examined, they can obviously ask him questions, probe him. They can go into it. And if she feels like, he's lying about this or he's saying something wrong, she can talk to the lawyers and say, look, question him about this date or what actually happened. So her insight and ability to speak, during the cross-examinations with the lawyers is a big deal. She can rebut things in real time instead of having to wait for papers to be drawn out. There is a benefit to the defendants in her being able to do that near instantaneously in the course of Mr. Depp's cross-examination, and in my view, it would be unfair to the defendants to deprive them of that advantage. In one way, I do agree, because again, we're getting back to that word wife beater, right? So they have to prove he hurt her. So when he's suing them for defamation, she's secondary to that. They're going to have to rebut it in real time, or they're not going to be able to prove really anything. Like, this is going to be very, very hard for them. I don't know how they're going to do this. The rejection is the latest development in a long-running pretrial conflict between the legal teams, Heard and Depp. Yeah, we've gone over almost nearly all of that. All of the different things that have gone wrong or, been pushed back because of COVID and stuff like that. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to start. I think what I am going to do, depending on how quickly papers get released, right? Because this, I'm from America, there's a time difference. We are going to see quite a bit of coverage, but I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be able to get papers. So I'm hoping to do a late evening or, around that time, video each day covering what happened that day. Now, we may not get, court papers that quickly. We may not get them till the day after. So the first video, pertaining to court and definitely needing the time to read these things may not arrive until Wednesday. But regardless, I'm keeping an eye on it. So I am definitely interested. This is going to be the first face down. It is going to be a big deal. Plan on seeing this everywhere this week. It's going to be all over the news. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think about this. Whether you think it's fair for, Amber to be in the courtroom during cross-examination, or you think he shouldn't have to face his abuser, which is, my initial thought. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Rafford, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Balls, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskar, Ryan Decker, Robert Hoffman, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget, on the way out, to like as always if you enjoy the content and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.